Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today, February 9th, 2022, at Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, where we've been here for the last 2 years every Wednesday, taking your questions live on the spot about U.S. immigration. It's general questions, educational stuff intended for general knowledge. If you want to schedule a private consultation, just email me. We can set that up. If you email me, briefly describe the immigration issue you're dealing with so I can see if it's the kind of case my office handles. Having said that, we do give away free video consultations for live viewers. It's your incentive to come and call in essentially and type out your question. And if you are interested in getting a free, entering a chance to win a free video consultation, we give away 3 each video that we do every Wednesday. All you got to do is like and subscribe wherever you're watching this and write consultation in the comment section. And my wonderful assistant, Kayla, will name somebody in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes, and in 30 minutes to let them know, so tell me, and I'll let you know that you want to get further instructions there. As I always say, if you're interested in learning about marriage visas, fiance visas, and the green card process, what you got to do is first and foremost download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. This is the site that you need to go to understand and download the PDF, the ultimate best guide there is about U.S. immigration through marriage and fiance visas, to know what's going on in the process. And then after that, schedule a consultation with myself or any other lawyer. But at least once you read that, you know what's going on. Many people have used that as a tool to file themselves even. And so I really want you to download that to see what we're talking about. You're going to be blown away how much information and guidance is in that magazine. But having said that, let's get it started. All right, so we have our first person on, Vikas Idnani says, hello, John. Hello to you too. And the question is, my STEM OPT is expiring February 2023. So what is STEM OPT? When you're a student visa holder in the United States, that's F1 visa. After you graduate, you automatically, most of the time, get 1 year of the ability to work in the United States and get experience in the thing that you studied in. They call that OPT, optional practical training. Now, if your major that you studied in was in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, math, you get additional like 2 years added to that afterwards. So this person, because says the STEM OPT is expiring February 2023. Do I have to be in status? I've applied for adjustment based on marriage to a green card holder. Please let me know. Do I have to join school CB for status? So no, if once you file for adjustment of status, as long as it's not a frivolous filing, a real one, and if you're married to a green card holder, that's good. As long as your case is good, you don't need to maintain status after all over that. Now, you can't violate status. You can't work without authorization or something like that. But if your school ends, or even if you drop out of school at this point, it's okay. I would recommend finishing school or OPT, just do it out. But just don't work without authorization. So once get your, I hope you requested employment authorization with the adjustment of status application. And if you did, then work once the EAD comes for that. Note that if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you could, if you work without authorization, had some violations like that by itself, would not affect the case. But if you're married to a green card holder, that exception, that extra privilege doesn't exist. So what you got to do is, just avoid any violations. But yeah, you don't need to maintain status if you file for adjustment status. It's better that you do, but overall, you generally don't need to maintain status after filing for I-485 adjustment of status. Thank you for that question. It's very important. We get that question a lot. I'm glad I can help you out with that and some guidance. Yvez asks, hi, I filed my lawsuit since January 28, 2020. I don't hear nothing. How long USCIS take to respond? So when you file a lawsuit, you're suing USCIS. They respond in the court. So there's no fixed time necessarily in court. It goes back and forth, and the judge sets the calendar, that kind of stuff. USCIS does not have to respond to you if they don't want to, so they may play out the lawsuit. So I'm not sure what kind of case you have, what kind of lawsuit you have, where your lawsuit is in the process, what has happened, and it's not something I can answer. By the end of the day, how long the government will take to do something, that's up to the government and how they want to do things. So it's not impossible to answer that question, but thanks for asking. Zaid asks, how long do we wait to get a social security number once we do the biometrics through marriage petition we filed in Texas? There is no association with doing the biometrics, how long to get a social security number, a work permit, or advance parole, an interview, or an approval. That's just something you have to do to get the next step of the case going, but they're unrelated time-wise. So typically, when you file for employment authorization and or status, both those applications nowadays ask if you want a social security number. Typically, once your employment authorization is approved, 2 weeks later, pre-COVID, you'd get a social security number, or if you did adjustment of status just without a work permit, 2 weeks after that. Having said that, Social Security offices in the various states and regions are responding differently to this. So how long it takes to get a Social Security number, even after your work permit's approved, not the biometrics, that doesn't matter. Your work permit or adjustment of status approved, I don't know. I'll tell you, unfortunately, they're not a reliable time frame at all. And I have cases where the adjustment of status green card gets approved, or they do consular processing. They fly into the United States with a green card, and the Social Security number just doesn't come. The card doesn't come, and so those kind of cases, you have to call the Social Security office, go in person, file some forms, and to get it rolling. But it's not a reliable process. And Texas is not that bad. It has a lot to do with the shutdowns in Texas and Florida is better than in California, for example. But thanks for your question, Yazzie. I'm sorry that you're going through that. See your JDLM. God bless, and I hope you have good practice in the United States. Our colleague Jeff Joseph says, keep up the good work. God bless you, Jeff Joseph. Or we had a question about lawsuits earlier. Jeff is doing some of the major lawsuits along with colleagues Greg Siskin and Charles Cook and a lot of other colleagues. These major lawsuits against the government agencies, Department of State, USCIS. If you are interested in lawsuits in particular, Jeff Joseph recently joined law firm Barry Appel and Leiden and his previous firm, which was his firm. Both of those would be great places to go to file these lawsuits that you may have over mandamus claims, over really ridiculous stuff that the agencies do. Jeff's the guy that fights it. And I have a separate program for immigration lawyers called the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. I interviewed him about some unique litigation he did for CNMI, like these islands in the Pacific and stuff like that, that is really, special. And not many people even know what's going on with those kind of visa categories. But a great colleague that can help you out with that kind of stuff. Jeff Joseph is the name. Definitely reach out to him. But thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate the kind words. Angel asks, cases being actively reviewed by USCIS. What does this mean? It means they're actively reviewing it. For I-130, are really cases being doubled for the Nebraska Service Center? Can I change my center? You have no control over which service center has your case. And you have no control over moving it. And the issue are all ridiculous, unreliable. So don't even look at any of that. Just wait for your case to be approved. Okay, so SD says, good evening to you too. Thank you so much. Chinyera asks, hi, JK, good day. God bless you, Chinyera from Austin, Texas. Well, good. Good to meet you. We have a second Texas viewer. Appreciate it, Chinyera. Thanks for coming on YouTube. 23 on our regulars. Hey, John, is it safe to file I-130 and I-485 jointly when married to a green card holder? I mean, safe. I mean, that's something people do. I file these cases regularly. Whether it's safe for you, I can't say because I don't know the details of your case, whether it's appropriate or not. Maybe your case or whoever friend of yours are asking for has issues with their case. That's not safe, but that's too generalized a question for me to be able to answer here. But Jordan, thanks for coming on the show again. I appreciate you always coming on. Vika says, thanks, John. You're welcome. Cheniera, definitely try to get you a consult. BD says, I am here on a visitor visa with my daughter. Can we get an immigration visa if domestic abuse at home? So there is a special visa category. My office does not handle it, so I'm going to speak very briefly on it, called the Violence Against Women's Act. And if you have a U.S. citizen spouse or green card holder spouse and there's domestic violence, then there is a chance that you could get what's called the Vawa claim, Violence Against Women's Act. You should consult with an immigration attorney in private to discuss your situation, and they can help you out with that. Potentially even a U visa if abuse is within the U visa category, but probably Vawa is the strong category to do. But hope that information helped. It's just not something my office handles, but VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act, is what you got to research more about. And I'm sorry to hear about the situation. Chef asks, 10-year green card. Is it true that once you're married more than 2 years and waiting for an interview, you will get it? Yeah. So the 2-year green card, let's back it up. So if you get married and get your green card through marriage, if on the day the green card is issued, the marriage is less than 2 years old, you get a 2-year-old green card and are required to file for removal of the 2-year condition. So essentially 2 years later, after getting the green card, you have to file another application to show your relationship was real and all this kind of stuff. Big headache from I-751. However, if by the time you get the green card issued, it's not the interview, it's when the green card is issued, if 2 years have passed since the date of marriage, then you get a full 10-year green card. So it's preferred that that happens because it saves you a lot of hassle. But that's that. Thanks for your question, Chef. Letty asks, what if I have custody of my kids? I have DACA. Can I apply? I don't know. There's just too much going on. Let's see. I can't answer that question. There's not enough information here for me to answer that question. Vika says, what type of jobs can you work on a C9 employment authorization? There is no restriction on the type of jobs you can do on a C9 employment authorization. C9 is a category used for work authorization for getting a work permit if you're filing adjustment of status. There are no restrictions on that. You just could work once you get it. Obviously, you can't do anything illegal or something like that or whatever. But I mean, generally, it's unrestricted. There may be certain categories that are things like I can't say 100%, but 99% of things you could do. I do want to, Vikas, while you're on, you are a winner of our raffle. Kayla announced to me behind the scenes that you're the winner of our first free consultation we're giving away. Just take a screenshot of wherever you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. It's info@jqqlaw.com. Email it to me so I know it's you, and I'll respond with information about scheduling the free video consultation, 15 minutes. I'd be happy to do it. For those just tuning in, if you're watching live, then if you just like, subscribe, and write consultation, and whatever chat features or wherever you're watching this on, my wonderful assistant will name someone in about 10 minutes and another one 20 minutes to win the lottery for getting a free video consultation. So just do that. And if you're interested in a marriage green card, a fiance visa, and you want to learn what's that about, how do you do it? What you got to do is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. You'll be blown away by the great information in there. Really spells a lot of things out for you. Marriageimmigrationlaw.com is where you go. So we'll take questions again. Kunal asks, what is petty offense immigration? I think you mean petty offense in immigration. There are certain things crimes that if you committed, it's forgiven if it's just done once under the statute INA 212A3, I think. I'm not sure, 2 or 3 or something like that. That's the statute about criminal activity. It works towards adjustment of getting a green card or citizenship, but essentially if you do certain crimes where the possibility of jail time just once is less than a year, and you actually got less than 6 months in jail or something like that, then it's called petty offense exception. It's waived. I mean, there's always discretion that has to be about it. It depends on what crime you did, so you have to see what's going on. It's not foolproof. It's not the 100% answer to that. That's the general overview we have. But that's the petty offense exception in a quick nutshell. Blaze asks, what does someone need if applying for a visitor visa? You need a complete application form DS-160. You need to have your documents related to your case and apply for one at the embassy. And if you have proof of a reason to go back home, family members, spouse, kids, home, work, all that's positive. But essentially, the first thing you just need to do is fill in the application and pay the visa fee and do an interview. Anything extra on that, it really depends on the case and your luck. Bollywood asks, sir, what is a petty offense exception? We just answered that. SD asks, can an H-2B do an adjustment of status to an EB-3? If yes, what is the percentage getting through? There's no percentage of getting through. That depends on your case and whether it works or not. H-2B category, I don't really handle it. H-2B is a specific kind of work. I think it's seasonal workers. I'm not sure if they have a restriction for filing for adjustment of status. I doubt that they do. But I just don't handle H-2B, so I don't know all the restrictions on it. But what percentage? It's not a good question to ask an immigration attorney because it's not up to a lawyer. And even if I say it's 90%, you might be part of the 10%. So anything you file for immigration is always 50-50. Either it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. We could say, the likelihood is strong, but when I don't know anything about you, let's say you had a tourist visa and you're filing for a green card or something that you can, an F1 student visa, for example. Without knowing you and having no knowledge of you, there's no way for me to give a percentage. You might have criminal history. You might have a missing birth certificate. You might have all these other issues. So a question about percentage and stuff doesn't make sense, especially in this forum, because it's just not enough information to be able to answer a question like that. But thanks for asking anyways. Christiana says, good evening. Thank you for all you do. Oh, God bless you. Thank you. How long do I wait before I file for citizenship? I got my green card through R1. So R1 is a person, usually a religious worker who came in. I have a detailed video on YouTube where I spent a lot of time going over the timing requirements for citizenship. So go to YouTube, type in jqqlaw.com citizenship. You'll find probably the best, most thorough video on the internet about the timelines for citizenship. You probably have to wait at least 5 years. I'm not sure if there's exceptions for R1s. I don't handle R1s often either, but probably not. The exception is really military cases and marriage cases to U.S. citizens, but you probably have to wait 5 years at least after getting the green card. But there's also other time requirements that are part of that, so you want to be aware of those as well. So check out that YouTube video. Bonita asks, my son went home before the decision of extension of stay was given. Will we have a problem about it? Yeah, potentially that decision gets denied for abandonment, and the visa could be considered abandoned, and they'll have to apply for a new visa to be safe at the embassy instead of using the existing one. Yogi asks, how long does it take to bring your husband over to USA? It varies. Right now, the thing is, it changes every day. So I had a consultation with a couple who are going to get just engaged right now, and the spouse was from Pakistan. And I said, listen, I could easily see this case going 3 years for them to be able to come to the United States. And that's when they come, they may have to do more work. So the fastest might be a year and a half if we're lucky. But it depends on what country we are, your background, if there's administrative processing and background checks. If you, a whole set of factors could be a problem with this that are unknown. So at least a year and a half, but more like 2 years right now, and it could be even longer than that, 2, 3, 4 years. I've seen cases take extra years, 5 years, because of background checks, and they didn't file lawsuits to make it faster. So unfortunately, timeline is really hard to say, but that's a general guidance right now. It may change 3 months from now. COVID gets better, they hire more employees in the State Department, it might get cut down, come faster. Can you ask, how can one read and understand the bulletin board, especially of that of Nigeria I-130 application? Thanks. So I think by the bulletin board, you mean the visa bulletin. This is a chart for people applying for green cards and when they are in line for it. So I-130 is the petition for an alien relative. When you start a family case, you file for I-130. It could be for parents, siblings, children, spouse, and there's different ways this all works. But what you want to do to see how long the actual line is, when they could possibly even get a visa, you type in visa bulletin, you go to Google, type in visa bulletin. Usually the first link from the Department of State pops up, and you type in the most recent, or click on the most recent month's visa bulletin. And then these charts open up. This long page comes with a bunch of charts for family base. You look at the first chart and you see which category your case is in. So, for example, if you're a green card holder filing for your spouse, that's the F2A category. And so you look in there, and there's going to be 5 columns. There's going to be like 5 rows, or 4 or 5 rows. You look in the F2A for marriage or a minor child and you're a green card holder. And then in the columns, you see they have special columns for Philippines, Mexico, China, India, and maybe another country. But Nigeria doesn't have that much demand, so it's part of the general world category. And you look what it is. Now, right now, the I-130 category for a spouse of green card holder is current. So there's no line. It's just a matter of the government bureaucracy, doing the process for finishing up the case. But if you're F4 category, like your brother, you're a citizen and you file for your brother or sister in Nigeria, and they're born in Nigeria, that could take anywhere from, I don't even know what the timelines are right now, like 15, 17 years or something like that. So you see what your priority date is, the day you filed your I-130, and you look at the dates there, that says what dates people are getting green cards for, and you just do some math, and you get an estimate. That's really just an estimate, because sometimes that chart moves really fast forward, just jumps ahead a couple years, sometimes it gets slower. But that's an overview, and I have other videos on YouTube where I actually spend more time in detail covering how the visa bulletin works. So just check out jqklaw.com and put in visa bulletin, and have other videos about it too. Tehal says, I'm waiting for my approval I-360. I applied in August 2020. What should I do? I don't know. I don't know your case and what kind of specific I-360 you filed. So I don't have any guidance. Consult with an attorney in private. Evelyn asks, once you get a tourist visa, can you adjust status? Well, it is possible to adjust status if you enter lawfully with a tourist visa, but it depends on what adjustment you're doing. And frankly, the real thing is when you file for a tourist visa, you're saying, I'm coming temporarily to the United States. I'm not going to stay. I'm going as a tourist, and a tourist go back home. But if you're telling me already you got a tourist visa and you're thinking about adjustment of status, that tells me your person, or maybe your friend who you're asking for, it wants to actually stay in the United States and get a green card. And you're not allowed to do that. It's called immigrant intent. It could be considered fraud and misrepresentation, saying you lied when you got the tourist visa, or when you entered the airport, you lied to the Customs and Border Protection, the CBP officer, saying I'm coming as a tourist, but really staying. Now, there's exceptions. There's this and that and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into here. But generally, your question, once you get a tourist, can you adjust status? It's legally possible. Whether it's appropriate and won't come back and hurt you, I don't know. I need to know a lot more details about this hypothetical case, Evelyn. Anonymous Striker asks, how long does it take to get a work permit trial document under Vawa? I don't know. Sorry, it just takes a while. King of All Cali says, hello, my citizenship application is pending for almost 2 years since March 2020. I passed the test. And you passed the test, you had your interview, and it's been more than 120 days. Well, you could file a complaint, file a lawsuit. They're saying that USCIS has a certain amount of their files locked in a cave for storage, and because of COVID, they can't go in the cave and take it out. So that's causing a lot of cases, especially citizenship cases, get delayed because they need to put all your case and file together before they close it, and you become a citizen. They have to put all it together. This may be a reason why it's taking so long. It may not be. They don't tell us which one of these cases are stuck in that cave, but that's an excuse and a reason that was provided recently that came out. So that may be it, or the case may have issues, or you just have bad luck, or it could be a lot of different things. Like the officer lost the case or something. I do want to announce our winner, Chinyero Keke. Thank you so much for your question. Please take a screenshot, Chinyero, of where you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. And I'll reply with instructions on how to schedule a private consultation, free 15-minute video consultation. And for those just tuning in, what we do is we give out free video consultations. All you gotta do is watch the show live and like and subscribe where you're watching. Write consultation in the text box, and then we'll name off people. I have one more free giveaway we're giving out in 10 minutes for those live viewers, and so you catch that. And then also, if you are interested in marriage, fiance visa, all that kind of stuff, the very first place you should start to get to know what this program is, what it's about, is going to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and downloading the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's the best piece of paper and book. It's digital, it's not paper. A plus place you can find information on how the whole system works to get a start of what to do to get into this game and figure out what's going on. So check that out at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Evan says, or is a tourist visa just that, a tourist visa? A tourist visa is a tourist visa itself. It doesn't lead to anything other than visiting. Kid says, I'm waiting for my first asylum interview, currently working on a work permit. Well, good luck, and I hope asylum interviews can take a while to get. Sometimes be very prepared for that. I strongly recommend having an experienced lawyer prepare you and go with you to your asylum interview, but God bless and good luck. Applied 2019. Okay, yeah. John Locke, I think a regular said, I won a free 15-minute consultation last time. Can I please give it to someone else, John? Thanks. Well, reply to the email that I sent you for the confirmation and CC the person, and we'll take it from there, John. And you could just email me instead of that. Alicia says, can you be exempted from the COVID-19 vaccine if you are pregnant and don't feel comfortable taking it? Can it be considered contraindication? I'm not sure if it's considered contradiction or not. You talk with the doctor about that, how they do it. I don't know if you could. When you're pregnant, there is one thing where if they think you have tuberculosis, or from certain countries that have high numbers of tuberculosis or TB, they have a rule that says, you could postpone getting the X-ray and finishing your medical checkup until you have your baby. Because if you think you have tuberculosis, you're gonna have to take an X-ray. And so they give you that opportunity to say, listen, we won't make a decision on our case. We'll delay it until the pregnancy is over. And then you can take X-ray, but you still have to do the X-ray so we know it that you don't have tuberculosis and get checked out. There's waivers and stuff. I'm not gonna get into that. But so regarding this postponement, that may be an option. That's an option for tuberculosis. I don't know if it's an option for the vaccine. I haven't looked into that, but I think it will be generally if you say, hey, I'll do the medical checkup, but just give me more time. I don't know the exact rules on that. I did research this over pregnancy because I have a case I have to look for it a couple years back. But maybe that's the thing. So that's just something to think about. But you need to talk with your doctor, talk with the USCIS civil surgeon, and maybe your immigration attorney to research it in more detail. Hashi asks, how long does it take to get an interview after I-130 approved? My case approved. She's in Pakistan. It's going to take a while, Hashi. Pakistan's super backed up. They're not giving interviews. You might get lucky. You might have it sooner, but it could easily be a year or two until you get an interview, unfortunately. Mies asks, my marriage I-130 is approved. However, my I-45 was submitted before the approval. Does that do anything? No, they'll just wait for your adjustment approval. That's it. Humberto asks, can you get out of the permanent bar? Yes, you leave the United States, you wait 10 years, and you apply for readmission. Or if you have a Vawa claim or a U visa that's successful, that may be a way. But the permanent bar, unfortunately, is very difficult to get out of. The permanent bar means that you enter the United States, and for some, you've been out of status. You accumulated more than a year's worth of being out of status in the proper way. There's a legal technical terminology. And then after that year is totaled, you leave the U.S., and then you come in without permission again. And that triggers a permanent bar, which means to overcome it traditionally, for most cases, you have to leave the United States, wait 10 years, and then apply to be readmitted, and wait after waiting 10 years outside the United States. Very harsh, other than some exceptions and maybe some calculations and it goes. There's always exceptions to everything that are rare, but that may be a case. But generally, it's really difficult to do anything about it. Blaze says, "Thank you. You're welcome, Blaze. Thank you." Bali Watika says, "My friend was charged with theft, charged below $50 in Texas, and he's adjusting status for a green card. Will the green card be sent or approved, sir?" It's too case specific. I can't answer that right now. He's in F1 status. You're saying I need to see what the actual charges are and read the arrest and court records. If it's $50, it's probably okay, but I can't give specific guidance on legal matters like this. I need to see it for myself. So generally, yes, for what the petty theft exception is, that probably is under that, but I can't give guidance on what's going on with your case or your friend's case or whoever without having individual consultation with them. BD says Vawa won't work. Husband is not a citizen resident and is not in the U.S. Is asylum possible option? There's asylum for domestic violence. I don't handle asylum cases. They try to shut that down during Trump's time, but it's coming back. But I'm not a good resource for asylum questions. I don't handle those cases. Esty says, "Thank you. You're amazing." Well, God bless you. Thank you so much, Esty. Izola asks, "Hi, I'm here with the B2 visa, legally here. I got married to a green card holder. We are filing I-130 adjustment together. If my B2 visa time is up, will I be able to stay here until the I-130 is approved?" Yeah, we answered this question already in the show. If you file for adjustment of status that's not frivolous, it's proper, you can wait in the United States even after your existing status expires up until the time your interview happens. And if you're approved, you're approved. If you're denied, it's going to be really bad. But if you're approved, it's okay. Pierre asks, "Thank you for your help." You're welcome, Pierre. If adjusting status marriage-based from an F student visa and I have a student loan in the U.S., currently in the USA, is that a great reason to request expediting the work permits and stuff you're saying? They don't really do, they don't want that, but they don't really care about financial circumstances. Very rare. They kind of made it a little bit easier. But what worries me, if you have difficult financial situations and you say, "Hey, listen, I can't afford this and that," it might put pressure on the idea of your affidavit of support to say you're financially okay. I would need to see what the whole situation is before I make a judgment and give you guidance on something specific like this. I just can't do that right now, and I'd have to really think about it and see what your whole situation is, Pierre. So unfortunately, I can't help you with that. John Locke says, "What happens if a U.S. citizen files for a same-sex fiance and the fiance lives in a country where same-sex relationships are considered criminal acts? How does U.S. Embassy overseas handle this case?" Well, U.S. Embassy won't consider it criminal, and they'll just handle it like any other case. Laverne says, "I'm married to a U.S. citizen and currently holding a B2 visa. I'm approaching 3 years of marriage. I've been traveling for that period. Will I get the 10-year bar at the time of application?" The 10-year bar, I guess we got to talk about that. I'm not sure if it applies to you. I need more facts. So 10-year bar means you're in the United States and you overstayed or been out of status for more than 1 year, and then you leave the United States. So by leaving the United States after being out of status and accumulating what's called unlawful presence days for a year or more, then if you leave, you're triggered the 10-year bar. So you're saying you hold the B2 visa, but I'm not sure if you've been violating your status. I'm not sure what's going on. So Laverne, there's not enough information here to be able to answer your question. Chinira says, "Thank you so much. You're welcome." Evelyn Vasquez says, "Thank you. You're welcome." With regard to U visa time, it's years. So U visas take a long time. Paranoid Andrew on a regular says, "Hi, Attorney Khosravi. Is the N-400 filed by paper or electronic recommended? I keep hearing e-filing is such a mess, and most attorneys filed by mail. What is your experience?" Yes, majority of lawyers, immigration lawyers, do mail in requests, but a growing small number are filing online. I don't trust the online system because it's weird. When I've tried it out, they made it hella clunky, hella difficult for attorneys to work with their clients on it. And the sample they give you at the end has missing boxes on it. Now, maybe internally it looks okay, but the sample I've tried, last time I tried was a year ago, so they might have made it better. But the final version they showed me was like missing spots, and I'm like, I can't submit this, I can't approve this. So I sent them out paper. Some lawyers say it's faster. I have NATS cases, naturalization, called NATS, naturalization, N-400 cases, citizenship, filed by paper, and we get the interview 2 months later. So I don't think it makes it faster or slower, but if you do it on paper or electronically, most people who do it on their own do it electronically, but majority of immigration attorneys do it by paper. But over time, that's going to switch just like everything else. When I first started in this game, I do a lot of marriage green card cases, as I talked about a lot. It was like 20% or 10 or 15% of my clients met online. Everyone else met in person through family or whatever. Now it's like 70, 80% of clients meet their spouses through apps and dating websites, and a very small minority meet in person or to friends or this kind of stuff or family members. So that's going to change soon to the next couple of years. 29 Super C, one of our regulars as well. Hi, Attorney Castro. I hope you're doing well. Just saying hello. God bless you, 29 Super C. Have you entered the US yet? Are you living here, or what's going on, 29 Super C? Because how long is F2A visa approval taking now? If you, there's no answer to that. If you're going through the embassy, it could be 1, 2, 3 years after I-130 approval. If you're in the United States, it could be 1 or 2 years on average, depending on which USCIS office you're dealing with. Jake BD says thank you. You're welcome. And Isola says thank you. Pierre says thank you as well. God bless you all. My last question, Ki Georgior says Advanced Pro always granted. Advanced Pro as part of adjustment status is almost always granted. Sometimes if you're a TPS holder, it won't be granted. DACA, they're more stringent about granting it. Or if you entered without admission, they might not grant it. It varies. I can't say it's always granted. As a lawyer, you can't give these kind of general answers, and it depends on what the basis of the advanced parole is and what what category you have right now, all this kind of stuff. So it's just not a question I can answer. Having said all that, the last thing I want to say is our winner of our raffle is Bollywood Tika. Bollywood Tika, thank you so much for asking questions. What you got to do is take a screenshot of where you're watching this and email it to me. The screenshot should include your username wherever it is, so I can see it's you. And email me at info@jqklaw.com, and I'll reply with instructions on scheduling a free video consultation, 15 minutes, and we'll talk in private. So having said that, I want to thank everybody who joined. We'll be back again next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time on all these channels, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. They have several YouTube pages, and the TikTok channel, which I'm loving and putting a lot of emphasis on. If you haven't already, check out the TikTok channel, putting daily stuff there that could help you out. And download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Be safe. See you next week. Bye-bye.